Good day, hot men and hot women. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast. And I don't know if you can hear it, but my cat is actually right there, and she's purring very loudly. So if you're wondering what that noise is, it's my little monster purring. Getting back to what we're talking about. Sorry, my cat's more important. But not as important. No, shh, baby, don't listen. Not as important as the Firebending Masters, Chapter 13 of Book 3.
I'm Jason, by the way. Hi, guys. I'm just introducing myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot to... My cat is right here, okay? I'm sorry. I was a little distracted. Shh, it's okay, baby. It's okay. Do you want to take that other square?
Why didn't we start the episode like that? Like the thumbnail, once I get it right. We should have done that. That wouldn't have been lame at all.
Huh?
Did I lose you there? So why didn't we start the episode like that? Because it looked like the thumbnail, once I get it right.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, no, there we go.
Here we go the other way. Here we go.
Oh, God, if we were to fuse, could you imagine how awful that creation would be?
Yeah. Now, that was totally worth it, wasn't it?
It totally was. We've lost about 3/4 of the audience by this point, but why not? Nobody watches us anyway. But everybody was watching Avatar by this point.
Episode, so we can say
it is. It is. So let's talk about this episode. Let me move my cat's butt out of the way so that I can use images. Okay, so in this episode, Zuko is going to teach Aang firebending, but Zuko is shooting blanks by this point. He's got a little bit of firebender performance issues going on right now. Every time he tries to blow out a mighty load of fire, it just doesn't work. It happens to all of us. Well, not me, but most of us. It happens to most of us. They go and they talk to Team Aang, and Toph was it Toph? No, it's Zuko. Zuko says that he is not using his rage and anger to firebend anymore. And so he doesn't know how to do it without being angry.
So cool of an idea.
I really like how it was not a mystery that Zuko self-reflected and was like, oh, yeah, it's me. I'm not angry anymore. So and I can't firebend anymore because I'm not angry. What can I do about it? I love that. That. It was this episode that showed me, yeah, Zuko has changed. He's changed, and this is permanent.
Without getting the whole thing, I would just say that this episode, to me, redefines that element from my perspective. The fire element is completely redefined for me.
Absolutely, and we will get into that here in just a minute. Toph recounts a story about her running away as a child and befriending badger moles under the city, and she mentions that is why she's so good at earthbending, because she learned it from the badger moles, and the badger moles were the first earthbenders. The dragons were the first firebenders. I can't remember the moon was the first waterbender, and what was the first airbender? I don't even remember. Boy, my memory's not working. But this gives Zuko the idea that he and Aang need to take off, and they need to go find the first firebenders. Problem is this. The first firebenders were the dragons, and they dead. And the last one was killed by Uncle Iroh. That's why he's called the dragon. Because you call yourself a dragon when you kill one.
I love the story on how they died.
Yes.
Just that the Grant had such an ego issue, was so all-encompassing power that he killed the dragons.
Yes.
As a trophy. Nothing more than just a trophy.
You just want to make a name for yourself. So Aang and Zuko travel to this ruin of a city where the dragons used to live, and they find a bunch of statues, and Aang realizes that they are... Oh, hold on. I forgot about the booby trap. There we go. I really like that, how Aang uses his firebending, his airbending to get out of booby traps. And of course, I really enjoyed how Zuko reflected the light off his sword so they wouldn't have to wait until the solstice. And all I could think of was, yeah, Aang, you could have done that like several episodes into season 1 and gotten into that temple early. I'm kind of disappointed Aang didn't say something about that. Like, oh, why didn't we think of that earlier? What, you mean you just waited for the solstice? No, we used a mirror. But anyway, they get inside this building, and inside this building are these statues, and Aang realizes that they are trying to teach a technique called the Dragon Dance, which is a form of firebending. That opens up an Indiana Jones-type pedestal with an Indiana Jones-type jewel on the top, and of course, if you see an Indiana Jones-type jewel on top of an Indiana Jones-type pedestal, the first instinct is, let's pick it up and see what happens. And that is what Zuko does. Apparently, they've never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. Otherwise, he would not have done that. But instead of releasing a giant boulder, it releases a black sticky substance, which I'm really hoping is not the cesspool of this city. Incidentally, Avatar screen grabs are cursed. But they are trapped in this grate. They're trapped in this grate, and they have to stay there overnight.
It's terrifying.
Serves you right.
Stuff.
It really is, because it's like glue.
Well, you're thinking in the moment, okay, well, how will they get out of this one? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe he'll get his fire going and, out of that situation. No, you're stuck. I don't care if you're the Avatar or not. You're stuck.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole idea of getting up to a grate and having to stick your face through it to breathe, that is terrifying. Me, a gigantic claustrophobic baby, that makes them retract. Let me just put it that way. However,
this too, because it's funny because they have that moment where, all right, well, we need to meditate and think about the answer, and there it is. A few hours later, we cut to them just get angry at each other. It was really funny.
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out, however, that this ancient extinct civilization, is not extinct, nor is it that ancient, because they're still around. They've just been hiding, and they come to release them from the cesspool. And yeah, they're the keepers of the eternal flame that was given to people by the dragons. And they tell the boys, you got to go up that mountain to talk to the masters. But before you do that, you have to take this fire with you. Don't let it go out. Aang is, of course, really nervous because he doesn't really know how to firebend properly, and he's afraid that he's going to either let it go out or he's going to lose control of it, because Aang is terrified of firebending. Because if you remember, last time he tried it, he burned Katara really bad.
Yeah, he hurt her.
Yeah. So Aang sees firebending as destructive, and Zuko sees firebending as destructive. And so this new Zuko, who does not want to be violent, who doesn't want to be angry, is kind of contradictory to what he believes fire's very nature is. And so we got a pair of guys who are just going to be schooled on it, which I really enjoy. They get up the mountain. Aang's fire goes out because he wasn't paying attention. He tries to get Zuko to give him some fire, and he accidentally causes Zuko's fire to go out. So they're a little screwed. However, apparently the fire didn't matter because it's never brought up again. So I guess that was just the village messing with them.
Maybe that's just a tradition that they believe in, but in reality, it just doesn't work. Doesn't matter.
It could very well be, but they do meet the firebending masters, and lo and behold, it's a pair of dragons.
Oh, beautiful sequence, Jay.
Absolutely beautiful. And if you will look, one is the color of wind, the other is the color of fire.
Oh, wow. That didn't.
And I love that because it's the duality between these two guys.
Yeah.
That was my cat leaving my room.
Yeah. Quite dramatically by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I have this little I have this sensor on my door that makes the sound from Star Trek. Here, hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, so my cat just left and like whoosh, whoosh. So oh my goodness. So as the dragons are circling them, Aang and Zuko realize they have to do the dance of the dragons. And so they do, and it is magnificently staged.
Yeah.
I love the way that the movements of Zuko and Aang match the movements of the dragons. It is such a great sequence. And the dragons appear to be getting ready to eat them, to be perfectly honest. Because they are just your uncle did what?
There's no indication that they're totally cool with it at that time with the dragons. Like,
they're really not. The dragons are basically like cats. They just look pissed off all the time. The dragon could either love them or hate them at this point. There's just no way of telling. Yeah. But the dragon does love them and surrounds them with this beautiful, colorful kaleidoscope of fire. And I kind of got chills at this moment. As Zuko looks up and he just says, I understand.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he gets it, finally.
It's a great moment. It's a great moment.
Because they have realized, both of them have realized, that fire is not a source of destruction, although it can be. It's also the source of life. It is what gives life to everything. It renews, it warms. Without it, we would not be here. And so, although fire has so many negatives, it also has tremendous positives as well. And you can wield it with goodness in your heart. You can wield it with kindness. And so, they have learned a valuable lesson.
That's the redefining, isn't it? Right there. I now, as an audience member, have a total different perspective on fire, just like Zuko and Aang does.
Yes, terrific.
I beautifully written.
It really is. It's a great deconstruction of Zuko. It's a deconstruction of what firebending is. And I really think that it starts kind of showing the idea that a nation is not evil, entire people are not evil. It's just the people in charge are usually the ones who suck. And firebending is not necessarily evil, it's just how it's used.
And also at the end of this, and I know there's a big part you're going to talk about in a minute, but the idea of we've now have the missing piece from Aang's skill set now here. Like, he's now complete in his skill set, correct? Like, he has now control of all the elements. That's a big deal. But I think the biggest, one of the things that was explained in this episode, I think is beautiful, and you're going to talk about, is the fate of the dragon that Iroh had killed.
Yes, he lied. Iroh lied because he was protecting it. And again, I would not have been surprised if Iroh did kill the dragon, because, as Zuko said, he has a complicated history. But the fact that he spared the dragon, or maybe didn't even spare it, maybe he just went up there and was like, they sent me up here to kill you, why don't you go hide in that cave? I just thought that was wonderful. I love that.
It's great.
I'm all for that. I'm all for mercy.
Like, this is we're really at the home stretch where they're just delivering diamonds, not even gold at this point, diamonds to us every episode. And
they are.
Big fan of this one. I believe. Sorry, go on.
So we just got to mention the chief of the tribe getting in that last singer about, now that you know our secret, you can never leave. Just kidding. But seriously, don't tell anyone. I love the goofy sense of humor that this series has.
No, an excellent episode. I do believe, Jace, the next one's a double episode, though, isn't it?
It is The Boiling Rock, which I think is I think it's a metal band, if I'm not mistaken. It's a two-part episode, so we're gonna have double this disaster next time you see us.
But if you've been watching this by now, you're like us, you're locked in. For me, take this baby home, because it's been, it's been the first time I could say I've ever watched a show in this format and not spoiled myself. Has been, I recommend this to everybody. If you're watching a show, and I get it, sometimes I'll just watch the next episode, what's next. There's a beauty about watching an episode at a time, and then leaving a gap to think about that episode and anticipate the next episode. And yeah, it's been great to be forcing myself to do it with this show.
There is something about savoring. It's just like food. You can shovel food into your mouth in 5 minutes and not taste a thing, or you can take your time and just appreciate everything. And I think I'm enjoying this watch through more than I ever have before, because I'm not binging one episode after the other, after the other, after the other. Because after a while, it turns into static. It just turns into noise. Yeah. Now I'm really just enjoying it, taking my time. I like it. Yeah. I like it.
Mind you, like I do at the end of every of these episodes, I go straight away and watch the next episode we're talking about.
Yep, and you got two. You got two this time. So, double your pleasure, double your fun.
Absolutely.
And everybody out there, if you like what you saw here, please seek professional help. But otherwise, like and subscribe. Check the link in the video description below for your chance to become a Patreon. I say that like it's a good thing, but it would be good for us if you would donate as little as $5 a month to our channel, where we got big things coming. We got other things that have went that you will enjoy. We've got some amazing stuff coming up this year on the VHS Vault, and we're bringing back some stuff that maybe from the past that you liked, like Double XL Men and Jalapeno, the Gargoyles podcast, and The Power of J-Skull is returning with actual episodes of He-Man. Because there for a while, we forgot what type of podcast that was. But we are also going to be introducing a new show called The Filmation Spotlight. We're going to be looking at other shows done by Filmation Studios, because let's face it, they were cheap, but they were the best.
And of course, if you love Avatar, 2025 is the year of Korra, correct?
That is true. We're going to be starting Korra in March. And I know a lot of you are out there going, Korra is terrible. Well, you're wrong. She's not. She's great. So there. Deal with it. So be sure to join us next time on Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast.
Awesome. We've done it.